Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be making 2 glowstone rings, and this is going to be a matching set of rings. And we're going to be using these 3 glow powders you see here. So the first one is this pinkish red, then the next one is blue, and then the next one's black. And then all 3 of these actually glow purple. So you'll see right here in the glowing shot, they all glow purple. And so it's actually kind of interesting. They look different colors during the day, but at night they're all going to glow purple. And you can see those color samples underneath the 3 vials of what the colors are actually going to look like once they're wet with the adhesive. And then the next ingredient that we're going to add to this ring, and something that I think is going to make it really special and cool, is going to be diamond dust. And so essentially I'm just going to be taking these diamonds and crushing them with a hammer, and then just making small little diamond dust particles. So that'll add a kind of a cool look to the ring. It'll give it a little bit of a sparkle, and then also kind of make it look like space with just little stars interspersed everywhere. So I think that's going to be really cool. And you can see the way that I actually make the diamond dust is I've got this steel block here and then smashing it with a hammer. And as you know, diamonds are the hardest natural material. And so smashing them with a hammer here, it kind of mushed them into this steel, even though it's hardened steel. And so I just thought that was kind of interesting. It kind of messed up this block. It was fine, I just sanded it away, but that might be something to keep in mind. If you're going to try this yourself, don't go smashing little diamonds on something that you think is important. So I'm just crushing them up until I have a nice variety of particle sizes. So I've got a bunch of teeny little dust. I've also got some that have hardly even been touched, and then plenty of everything in between. And so this will add a good variety of different size particles to the ring. Now that we have all the materials ready to go for the rings, it's time to go ahead and begin adding the inlays. So I'm going to be using 2 identical tungsten ring blanks for this. And I mounted them side by side here, and that's just so I could do everything at the same time. This is going to be a time saver for me, but more importantly, it's going to help me get the rings to look consistent. Because if I went back and tried this again, I might use a different method, or for whatever reason, it might just look a little bit different. And I'm trying to make them matching. So I'm making them both at the same time, and that'll ensure that they both look the same. So we start off like most of the other glowstone rings. I just add a little bit of this cyanacrylate adhesive. Then I go ahead and lay down the first layer of powder. And for this ring, I'm kind of going for a deep space effect. That's what the customer requested. So it's kind of a deep space with the blue and pinkish colors rather than the typical kind of purples and greens and blues that I do. So because this is a deep space ring, I'm going to start with the black powder, and that ensures that the background of the inlay is always going to be black, because that's the main color I want in here, and then the other colors I'm just going to kind of try to swirl in here. And pay attention to how I'm adding the other 2 colors. I'm kind of lightly spreading them out evenly over a lot of the surface of the ring, but I'm definitely leaving a couple of patches where it's just that color. That's because if I went a little bit too light everywhere, the colors would all kind of mix and it'd just be kind of like gross brownish color, and that's not what I'm looking for. So I want to have colors that are definitely blue and definitely this pink color, and then of course I still want to have some of the definitely black parts. But then it is also important to add a bit of that element of where it's spread out pretty evenly. I didn't add diamonds until I was about halfway through adding the inlay, because those would have just been completely covered up. And so the first time I add them, most of these are actually going to be covered up, but a couple of them might show through, so I went ahead and added them anyways. Then I just went ahead and rotated through all the colors again, added another layer or 2 to the rings, and then we're at the point where we're ready to add the final diamonds that actually will show in the ring. So all I'm doing to add the diamond dust is going to be to just take a pinch of it with my fingers and then slowly spread it out pretty evenly throughout the entire ring. And once I've got a nice coating, I switch to the other one, and then we're done there. Now that I've got the inlay completely added, I need to go in and trim it down so it'll be flush with the edge of the ring. And this was actually a pretty big challenge for this ring, because diamonds are so hard, they won't sand away. And so they're pretty difficult to get rid of. They end up popping out eventually of the inlay. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I did do my best to keep as many of the diamonds as I could below the surface of the ring. but there ended up being enough that I was just going through these sanding drums like crazy. I ended up using over 10 of the coarse sanding drums and then about 3 of the finer ones. But I eventually got through it all. Now I've got the inlay flush with the rest of the ring. So from here, all I need to do is sand everything smooth, and then I'm going to be using some diamond paste polish, and that'll polish up the ring nicely. And if you're wondering why I use the diamond polish in this video versus some of the other polishing you'll see me do in other videos, it's because I had to be really rough on the tungsten in order to get the inlay flush. So there was a lot of scratching left over on the ring once I got it flush, and the diamond paste is able to actually cut through on the tungsten, unlike most of the sandpaper and other polishing options, and actually remove those scratches. So the sanding steps you'll see me do for these rings is going to be very similar to what you see me do for most of my other glowstone rings. The exception here is that I'm making sure to sand in both directions, so I put my lathe on forward and then I switch and put it on reverse. And that's because these diamonds are so tough and sticking out that sometimes when I'm sanding, the diamond will kind of protect the surface of the inlay behind it, and I won't actually get to that. And so if I'm coming at it from both directions, I eventually get to it. And I'm going through a bunch of sandpaper, so I'm replacing it pretty frequently, and that's because the diamonds just shred through that aluminum oxide sandpaper. So now I've gone through all the grits of sandpaper, started with 220 and now I just finished with 800 here. And so now it's going to be time for the diamond polishing. And you can see the 5 different levels I have. So we're going to start with 40 micron diamond paste, move to 20, then 10, then 3.5, and then 0.5 here. And the number on it correlates to the diameter of the diamond particles. Like I was saying, that's in microns. So for the 40, it's 40 microns wide, and then the 0.5, it's 0.5 microns wide. So for the 40 micron paste, I'm going to use a bunch of that. That's because that's the most important step. That's where we're going to be doing most of the cutting action with the diamond paste. That's where we're going to be getting rid of the scratches. And then the steps after that are actually mostly just to get rid of any impurities left by the 50 micron. So now after finishing up with the 0.5 micron diamond paste, this one's done and we're ready to move on to the sanding and polishing stage of the second one. And the steps here are going to be the exact same, so I'm not going to go into any of the details on that. We're doing the same grinding down, then sanding, then polishing that we did on the first one, so I'll just kind of speed through this one. So let me know what you think down in the comments, guys. I think these rings turned out amazing. I really like that diamond dust inlay. I've never done that before. It was actually an idea by the customer, so I was really happy to have that. I think it turned out awesome. And then I also like the unique color patterns this ring has. It's the similar kind of deep space look that I try to do on a lot of my popular rings, but in different colors than I normally do. So it was a fun new thing to try. I think it turned out well in practice, and I really like the diamond dust. So if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're new to my channel and think you might want to see some of my other videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you're up for a real challenge, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I've got a link to that in my bio. That's a place where you'll actually be able to see a lot more of the other rings that I make, as well as see kind of behind the scenes of what's going on here. And if you want to order a ring like this, go to my website. You wouldn't believe how many people comment on my videos asking if I actually sell these rings. And I'm pretty sure I say in literally every single one of my videos you can order them off my website, as well as I have a link. So if you were unaware, I have a website and I do sell these rings. So if you like these rings, or if you like cool rings like it, like rings made out of meteorite or superconductor, check out the link down there. That's it for this video. I want to wish you all a happy Wednesday, my dudes, and I will see you on Saturday.